Recorder, would you please lead us this morning?
Hey, a few things to go ahead and be praying about. Oliver's stepson just passed, so be praying for Oliver and the family. Randy Stamps, some of y'all might know him as former Rotarian. He has a blood disease and he's at Vanderbilt Hospital, so we'll be praying for him. And then Donna's sister-in-law who lives in New Mexico, her name's Wendy. She is on the list for a heart transplant. Is that right? So we're praying for her. Anything else that y'all like praying about?
The name back, please. She's my Rotary buddy, and she's at Vanderbilt this morning with her mother. Her mother's receiving chemo. She's, pretty serious. She has to go fairly frequently. They have to take her, so that's what she's got with us today. Pray for her mom.
Yeah, pray for my mom. She'll be 93 this month. She was hospitalized on Monday with a possible stroke. They're really not sure what's going on with her yet, so please just pray for her.
Anybody else? I think it's important also to just keep our country in your prayers. Keep the leaders of our government, local, state, and federal government in your prayers. It is crazy times. They need prayer more than anybody right now. So, bow your heads. God, thankful that we can meet again. Thankful that we can be together and talk face to face. What a reminder it is how much we need relationships. And thankful that you have people in this community that long to have relationships with each other and with others, and make this community a better place so that we can all have great relationships. And Lord, we pray for our government. We pray for the leaders in our communities that have a really hard job right now, and that's why they wanted to do what they do, is because you put that leadership on their heart. And so we pray that you would help them to make good decisions, right decisions, fair decisions. Lord, thankful that again that we can come together. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, beautiful for the stage, skies for amber waves of rain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruit and plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Let me hear you, Gunny.
Well, good morning, fellow Rotarians. What a great day it is to be a Rotarian here in the finest city in the mid-south, that city by the lake, on the northeast side of Music City, USA, the city of Hendersonville, Tennessee. Well, I hope you're all well rested this week and ready for what, Milton?
Another opportunity to excel.
Another opportunity to excel and maybe make a positive difference on all those people you're going to meet this week. Thank you, Mr. Milton. To our honored guests, distinguished visitors, welcome. Well, you know it, you are now in the presence of the finest Rotary Club
In the world,
where again?
Hendersonville.
Power up with the peace over and before they test of the things that they say do. First,
Is it the truth?
second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
third,
Will it build goodwill and better friendship?
fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Where are you going, ladies? All right, well, let's carry on that whole roll.
Nobody does it better.
I want to introduce Jamie Klunder. She went to Germany 4 years ago. The art club, I don't you don't remember, sponsored her to go to Germany, and then she still contact with us. She wants to have breakfast with us. So it was an honor to have Jamie.
Welcome this morning, Jamie. Delia.
Good morning, everyone. So nice to see you. I have Sarah with me. Of course, I woke up today and I heard she was putting makeup and making hair. She said, I'm coming. I said, okay.
We love to have you, Sarah. Do we have any other guests or visiting Rotarians? Okay. Wanted to mention that last week, what a wonderful, wonderful, generous group you are. We passed the pot, and we collected almost $500 last week. Thank you for your giving. That will help us to continue to take care of the Samaritan Club, the community child care, your giving through the pot, and also our Happy Box. So thank you very, very much. District Awards will be coming up June 27th. They will be at 5:30 in Clarksville. I'm sorry, I don't have the location. I believe it will be at the F&M Bank there, but I'm not 100% sure of that. If anyone is interested in attending, please let us know. My carpool to go up there. It'll be a nice little trip. So again, that's going to be June 27th at 5:30. We'll send out some more details as we get those. Larry, do you have an announcement?
That's my Joe Biden impression. This announcement is not what you might think. Nancy Myers, if you stand up, please. Nancy Myers' daughter's birthday is July the 11th, and the Rotary is going to celebrate that by having a trash pickup. We'll all be here by 7 o'clock. You know the routine. Bring your pickup tools and gloves. You'll hear more about it later. July the 11th, Saturday, 7 a.m. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Run, Larry, run.
I am having a technical dilemma. We've got the text message that our Facebook Live is sideways. So I suppose we will straighten the camera, but I have a feeling that's going to be very, very dizzying for those who are watching. So forgive me. I don't know how that could work, but... Oh, Kim, can you hold this? Can you set this up here? Get it to balance. Thank you. You have to tilt it downward a little bit. We will hope that that will improve.
Okay.
The meeting view for them. Kim, did you have something else?
Yes. I want everybody to listen to me, except Fred Michael. I want you to close your ears.
And don't look. And don't look. No.
Okay, well, it's our tradition, end of the year. I am so glad that you guys are here to sign. So please, if you have not, as you leave, I need to sign your name on this year's theme banner, and then end of the year, you're going to present to our president what an amazing job she had done. So she didn't hear it. Oh, what?
Thank you, Kim. So we are going to be having our awards banquet mini version next week during our regularly scheduled meeting. I hope that all of you will be able to be here. Those that are at home, I hope some of you can come as well. But in order to try to expedite that a little bit, we're going to go ahead and acknowledge some of our perfect attendance awards today. I just want you to stand. Kim has hang tags. You can get with him. We'll keep this list. You can turn in the ones you have. Get your new hang tags if you'd like, today, next week, or the following. We'll continue to distribute and get those hang tags to everyone. So if you'll bear with me, we'll go through a few of these real quick. Perfect attendance. Don Ames, if you would just stand, 26 years. Brenda Payne, 24 years, perfect attendance. Burkett Nelson, 24 years, perfect attendance. Carolyn Templeton, who's not here, I hope you are listening at home, 23 years. Phil Kyle, please stand, 23 years, perfect attendance. Cheryl Sessler is not with us today, 22 years. Oh, is she? Yay, Cheryl! Rod Lilly, 22 years as well. Barbara Brennan, please stand up, 22 years. Stan Warden, 20 years. Kim, 20 years. Rip Lepketcher. Keith Denon, 18 years. Here he is. Your future president. Milton Curtis, also 18 years. Oliver Berry, 18 years. Where's Oliver? Don Ward, 17 years. Please stand up. Julie White, 14 years. Brian Silkwood, 14 years. Mary Poole, 13 years. Michelle Owens, please stand up. 13 years. Michael Grubbs, 13. Marianne Wombeldorf, 11 years. John Westendorf, I'm sure you're watching from home, 11 years. Congratulations. Susan Phillips, please stand up. 11 years. Jan Woodard, 10 years. Rita Ward, 10 years. I made the list, 10 years. James Flockenseer for 10 years. And Don Clausen, please stand, 10 years. 1, 2, 3. Carrie Lou Westendorf for 9 years. Sonny Weatherford, 9 years. Lee Rux, 9 years. Gunny, where are you? Stand up. 9 years. Tom Gillingham, former president, 9 years. Dawn Lynn, 7 years. Sandra Gaskins, also 7. Linda O'Connell for 6 years. Nancy Myers, please stand up, 6 years. Former President Jonathan Hayes, 6 years. Bob Swank is celebrating 5 years of perfect attendance, as is Daniel Olivius. Doug Turner is 4 years. Charles Joseph, 4 years. As are Barry Ellis and Michael Dosemagen. Michael's here with us today, 4 years. David Mooney, are you here? Yes, celebrating 2 years of perfect attendance. Joey Montalbano, I saw you earlier, there you are, 2 years. Jerry Faulkner, 2 years, congratulations. And Scott Denton, is he here with us this morning? No. Marilyn Van Order, 1 year, perfect attendance. Please stand. Oh. Gary Piper, for 1 year, perfect attendance. Ashley Lee, Tracy Johannesson, Brenna Grant, and Russ Edwards. So congratulations to all of you. Make sure you stop by, get your hang tags exchanged if you have hang tags that you're turning in, and pick up your new one with Kim Kim. Don, where are you? There you are.
vote.
But I'll give you an atta girl. Okay, you two sliders, what was it, 22 years? Or
2022.
23?
And he's my buddy.
It was a program. I just want you to know how embarrassing it is. You only have 20 years. You got 25. Well, that's embarrassing too.
Yeah, you got 26 times in your term.
What's that again?
45 years of twin.
Somewhere between.
22 and 22.
Okay, let's get, Gunny. Sir. Who's your buddy?
My buddy is Bob. He's not here.
Bob's not here.
Nah, you know
I
what?
knew that. So,
Well, you know what, and I just checked with him today, and
any other day you would have checked?
any other day, but today I did. So I
Good, give me a dollar.
It'd be worth a dollar.
Give.
You probably take a picture somewhere. Make it count.
Arline. Yes, sir. Big buddy.
Judge Oliver.
Who?
Judge Oliver.
Judge.
Lewis Oliver.
Where is he?
On the screen over
It's true.
I believe you talked to him.
Text him.
Okay, good. Good work.
Thanks, sir.
Uh,
Coming from you, I think it's fine.
I'm sure. Let's see, Don Clausen, we don't get you very often. Who's your buddy?
John Isbell. John not here?
Well, that's worth a dollar right there.
Oh, shucks. I'll have to get it taken off my property tax.
Well, 9,000 to go now.
Very cool.
Yes,
Who's your buddy?
Carrie David,
Here you. Where's here you?
Pennsylvania,
Where?
Pennsylvania.
Really?
Yeah.
Now you're holding that up as if it's Oliver, is there anything on that?
Well,
January 3rd.
it's 6:46 a.m. today.
We'll get somebody else. Marilyn, now we're,
Behind you? Yes, Julie's not here. She didn't answer my text. So,
Julian. Oh man, give me a dollar. If I were you, I'd try to get it from her.
okay.
That would be luck. Yeah. Brenda. Payne.
Right here.
Yes, I know you are.
Well, Van Oldham, the last time I looked, is my buddy. And
Still is.
And I saw him.
This diatribe is really becoming,
Yeah, and it's okay.
you're dancing around not knowing where he
Well,
is.
it's okay, you have time. I've been here for 26 years. I'll be here the next one. Anyway, he's probably at his office at On-Demand Visionary Workplace.
$2, one for not knowing and one for the story.
I'll just give you 5.
Jerry Faulkner.
Sir,
Who's your buddy?
Rip catcher.
Where is Rip?
Rip is home with Pat.
Is he watching or trying to watch on Facebook?
I do not know. He's watching it.
Oh. Oh, see, I would have said he was on, but you haven't really talked to him.
I had an email from him that also President Friend was copied on that email, so she can verify that he had said he could not return at this
That
point.
was this year.
Yes.
You're harassing the witness.
Keith?
Yes, sir.
Buddy.
Ron Marcoux.
And where is Ron Marcoux?
Ron is at home.
Why?
Well, I think Ron didn't set the alarm this morning.
I'm not lying.
Well, you don't know it's a lie. Prove it's a lie.
You know it's a lot. Hey,
It came out of your mouth. It's a lie.
Rotary love.
All right. So, having gone through that, who's happy today? Any happy? Oh, yes.
Today, my wife and I have been married for 4 years, so it's smooth sailing from here.
Yeah, here's $10. I know. Come on, Bree. Hey, I know. And who knew that the girl we hosted 4 years ago is still keep in touch with us, and what a pleasure it is to have a dinner with her. And Marianne had a dinner with her a couple of weeks ago also. And then Sarah, Rhonda to Rala, and it's just great to see young people. So they are worth more than $10, but it's $10.
Hey, Don, I have a happy buck.
Yeah?
Show me money first.
The first is, I got my Rotary mask, which I was I haven't figured out how it goes on yet, but
You should
thank
wear
you to Debbie for doing that for us. Last night, Haley Gentry Hawkins was at our house. Haley just got back from Japan, and she was telling us what a wonderful trip she had, thanks to Rotary, the exchange program. I think she's going to do her presentation on July 1st, our first meeting. But last thing is, last week after Rotary, Sarah and Jonathan and I were talking, and Sarah expressed that she was interested in being an orthodontist, a dentist. And I said, well, you need to hook up with Bill Taylor. Well, I don't know who that is. Well, so between Jonathan and I, we hooked her up with Bill Taylor. Well, it turns out Sarah works at Ruby's right now, and Bill Taylor's a regular customer on Tuesday. So Rotary connects, and Bill Taylor is going to, allow Sarah to mentor. And that is truly the Rotarian spirit of service above self. So I just wanted to spread that love. And
That was a good one, Keith. Thank you. What a change.
I have a happy buck for, last week we brought our grandson, Bear, to the club meeting, and we asked if there was anybody that was in financial services that would be willing to have him mentor, and Joey has offered that. And my grandson has had a wonderful week with lots of great people in this community, allowing him to come and be a shadow. And he loved it so much that he called his younger brother and said, it's really fun here at Medium Coffee. You might have a talk. He not only is here now, our 17-year-old grandson, but he brought a friend with him. So he boys that can eat like wolves.
Anybody else? All right. Have a good day.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don, and thank you, Oliver. Miss Mary, would you come up and introduce our speaker for today?
Good morning, everybody. Today we have with us, I'm sure most of you know him, Barry Young. He is with the Sumner County Tourism. And he said I could say whatever I want, but I won't do that to him. He has been with the Sumner County Tourism Board since 2011, and I could read his bio, but he's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. I just want you to know this man has been married for 38 years, and if you follow him on Facebook, you know he loves his granddaughters. And guess what? He has one more coming next week. So let's give him a round of applause for that and for coming today. Please welcome Barry Young.
Thank you, Mary Poole. Now, Mary told me I had 2 hours to do my presentation this morning, so everybody stay seated, and we'll try to get through this. I know about probably, Mary and I were talking at breakfast, I probably know about 60%, 70% of the folks in this room. Good to see you again. I even know Gunny.
Good to see you, Barry.
Good to see you. I'm a little disappointed that you didn't offer up $1 because I was here.
Well, I tell you what, I thought that maybe we could, coach you into taking our membership and coming back with us.
Well, Brenda Payne's been working But anyway, thank you for having me, and thanks for the breakfast this morning. And I'll try not to go. I've been told that about 8:20, 8:25, everybody starts to get a little fidgety, so I'm going to try to wrap it up here before 8:30. Right, Fran? I was just thinking, about what to talk to you about this morning. Of course, we're going to talk about the recovery, I guess, is the best thing to talk about. But I was thinking, okay, what was if I had to describe my greatest moment as your tourism director, what would that be? And I would have to go back almost 3 years ago now. I'm looking at Marilyn because Marilyn was there. Marilyn was driving a golf cart that day for us as a volunteer. August 21st, 2017, the total solar eclipse. Seems like it just happened yesterday, but that was almost 3 years ago. And we had a big event over at Triple Creek Park in Gallatin, and the estimates are anywhere from 50,000 to 75,000 people. And of course, Gallatin is not right on the interstate, so we did a lot of marketing. We worked for 2 years to try to get folks from all over the world to come to Gallatin, and we were successful at that. And we couldn't have done it with all of our volunteers and all the folks that helped all throughout the county. So then I fast forward to now, and I think, okay, what was the greatest challenge of my job? And I can tell you that we are living that challenge here today. In February, and Brenda knows this, my goal every year is to do a little bit better than we did last year. And for the 8 years I've been here, we've done that. Every year we've done a little better than the year before.
Actually, a lot better every year.
Thank you, Brenda. Our occupancy tax that was collected in 2011 was $341,000, and our occupancy tax this past year was over $1 million. And that's just the 5% tax that visitors pay at hotels when they stay there. So we've been successful, but now we're in February. I wake up and I look at the numbers and think, okay, we're a little ahead this February than we were last February, so we're still doing great. Got more hotels. We don't have many hotels in Sumner County. Y'all know that. We only had 10 when I came here, and now we've got 14, and we've got 2 or 3 more on the way. And I woke up in February and I thought, okay, we're ahead of last year. We're doing good. Everything's going to be great. And we were preparing for, and I don't know if any of y'all have been to our Irish festival that we have out in Castalia Springs, but we were preparing for our Irish festival, which was March 7th. And if you'll remember, 2 days before March 7th, on March 5th, it was announced that the first COVID case was found in Williamson County. Y'all remember that? And I thought, oh no, got to get this event done. We got to get this event before it gets worse. And I remember that day we had about 1,200 visitors, or 1,200 people at the Irish Festival, which was the same amount we had the time before. So I was a little disappointed. I always want to do better than we did. We had about the same number. Of course, looking back at it now, we were very fortunate to have the same number of people that we had, because that's when things were really starting to drop off. It was right at the beginning of March. And fast forwarding to today, I will tell you that that the hospitality and tourism industry has been devastated. And of course, we've all been devastated. I understand that everybody's been affected by this, but especially the hospitality and tourism industry has been really hit hard. All over the world, actually, people have just quit traveling, not staying in any hotels, and I never thought I would see the day where we were actually doing better than Nashville was doing, because there in April, Nashville's hotel occupancy was near zero as far as the downtown hotels, because there were no conventions, there were no sporting events, there were no meetings, there was nothing. Now, because we were outside of the city a little ways, our occupancy never went down to zero or near zero, but it got down to around 20% in April. Now, you have to understand, a year ago, our occupancy was 85%. About 8.5 to 9 rooms out of every 10 rooms were full on a daily basis here. And it went from about 8 or 9 out of 10 rooms filled to down to 2 out of 10. And our hotel industry here has lost several $1 million in cancellations due to the COVID-19. And you know all the restaurants had to close. Our restaurants have been devastated. And I could go on and on about all that. But now things are starting to pick up. Even though COVID is still there, and y'all know that, things are starting to pick back up. So that's kind of what I wanted to dwell on today. And I will tell you that this coming weekend is probably the biggest weekend we've had, tourism-wise, since this thing started. This Saturday, and Saturday is the 20th, correct? Yes. This Saturday, we have 2 fishing tournaments. We have one fishing tournament out at Bull Creek, otherwise known as Flippers Bait and Tackle, out there in Gallatin. That's the American Bass Anglers Open Series. So if you're a bass angler, you would possibly be participating in that tournament. And then we have another tournament in Hendersonville at Saunders Ferry, and that's Crappie USA. You ask, well, why are we having 2 tournaments on the same day? Well, one of them had been postponed from earlier in the year, and we had to move it. As you probably already know, I know Dr. Faulkner with Ball State and everybody else knows that this, from now till the fall, is going to be very busy, because not only do we have the regular events, we have events that were postponed, that were rescheduled. So every weekend is going to be packed. But we have those 2 fishing tournaments on Saturday, so that'll bring in out-of-town folks. And then we have our historic sites kickoff, which we have postponed twice and rescheduled. It was supposed to be on April 4th, and then we moved it to June 6th, and now it's going to be this Saturday, June 20th. And about 75% of our historic sites are going to be participating. And basically what that means is you can go out to Crag Font or Rock Castle, and they're going to be there to give you tours. Most of the tours are free this weekend, so that helps our historic sites to gain visitors. Rock Castle is also having a songwriters night Saturday night. So we've got a lot of things going on this weekend, and we hope visitors are coming back. I will tell you that I just live over here now next to Hendersonville High School. I drive by here every day to go out to the Comer House to work, and look, I've been accused of this, and it's true. I've been known to get up in the middle of the night and drive around and look at the parking lots at the hotels to see how many cars are there, because I'm worried. Well, I will tell you, the last 2 to 3 weeks, and I've talked to our hoteliers, last 2 to 3 weeks, our occupancy has started to go back up. And I'm so happy to report to you, we have a big softball tournament coming up on July 13th. PGF, it's called Premier Girls Fast Pitch. It's going to be here at Drakes Creek Park. And we also have a tour group that rescheduled from earlier that's coming. And the tour group is going to have to stay in Mount Juliet. And when I first heard that, I thought, that's not good. Why are they staying in Mount Juliet? You know why they're staying in Mount Juliet? Because we're full. The softball tournament that we brought in is filling every room in the county. So I told my staff yesterday, I said, hey, that's a great problem to have. We're so full, the people coming here are going to have to stay in the next county. So we're slowly starting to come back, and we're working real hard. And you probably know, I know Brenda knows, we are funded by the occupancy tax that comes in. And when somebody stays, let's just say somebody's going to stay down here at the Holiday Inn Express, and they pay $100 for the night, okay? They're going to pay 9.25% sales tax, and they're going to pay 5% occupancy tax, which goes to the county. And that's what funds our office, is that occupancy tax. Now, we've never gotten all of it. I have to fight, and Brenda knows this, I've had to fight every year to get more so we can market the area more and bring in more visitors. Well, these are strange times that we're in, because guess what? Our occupancy tax has gone way down. I don't mind telling you, April was the lowest amount of occupancy tax that has come in since I've been here, and that's probably the lowest we've ever had. $20,000 is all that came in for the month of April, and that's the occupancy tax for the whole county. Last April, it was $80,000. So that just shows you how fast and how far it went down. So our office, just like everybody else's office, we're having to make cutbacks. We've had to lay a person off. We've had to cut back the hours of 2 other people. Our budget is not going to be as big as it was. But We're going to fight hard. We've got a good staff, and we're, like I said, we're on the road to recovery. So we hope, as long as we don't have any big setbacks, that things are going to keep going up. And like I said, I know in July our hotels are going to be full again, which is great news. Now, I know I'm short on time, so I wanted to, I figured, I've had a lot of questions here the last week or two about, what about July 4th? What about Independence Day? And most of you guys are the movers and shakers, so most of you folks probably already know this. But in Sumner County, usually every community has some sort of Independence Day celebration. Some of them are on, of course here in Hendersonville, it's usually on the 3rd. Gallatin is on the 4th, but then Westmoreland, White House, Goodlettsville, Portland, they all have celebrations as well. And pretty much they've all been canceled except 2. And most of you already know this. The Chamber usually does the Freedom Festival. But this year, things are a little different. And the Chamber is not going to have the regular Freedom Festival. But Hendersonville Parks is stepping up to do an event on July 3rd. So it's not going to be called the Freedom Festival. I think it's called Stripes, Stars, and Guitars. And I know our friend Andy Gilly is watching. Hey, Andy. No, July 3rd, we are going to have an event at Drakes Creek Park. Now, the good news is we're having an event. We're going to go by the governor's guidelines. There are only going to be 2,000 people allowed in the park on July 3rd. The bad news is you have to have a ticket, and all the tickets are already gone. But Andy wanted me to tell you, movers and shakers, that you can still be a sponsor. You can be a VIP and get a VIP ticket, and you can get a table and chairs and a tent for 8 people, and you can get your own parking spot. So VIP tickets are still available. But having said all that, I know that we have some musical entertainment that's coming, and they've been offered tickets, and we're waiting to see how many tickets are going to come back. So there probably will be some more tickets that will be released. So just, I would stay on the Hendersonville Parks Facebook page or website and see what might be available. But here's the plan, basically. The plan is there's not going to be any vendor booths. There's going to be a few food trucks. There's going to be musical entertainment, and Andy would shoot me right now if I was to reveal any of those. But we've got a great musical lineup coming. And I think they are going to live stream it on Facebook for those who cannot come. But there's going to be a few food trucks, there's going to be musical entertainment, and then at 9 o'clock, the traditional fireworks. And I've been told that they've purchased some more powerful shells to go into the air, so that the fireworks are actually going to go up a little higher than normal, and that way folks from out in the community can see the fireworks at 9 o'clock. So, and Andy, of course, he's texted me about 10 times. He knows I'm here. He wants me to mention the sponsors, Mike and Lindy Gong, Volunteer State Bank, Tennessee Properties, Rob Horton and Stan Fields, Sumner County Tourism, and the City of Hendersonville. Now, we stepped up and we're sponsoring this, and the main reason is I just felt it was the right thing to do. I think we need a lift. I think we need some good news. And, what would we be July 4th or July 3rd without fireworks, right? So that's the plan for Hendersonville. For Gallatin, it's a little different. The city of Gallatin is going to shoot fireworks like they normally do at Triple Creek Park. The park will be open, but there will be no festival, no vendors, no food. But people are allowed to come into the park to watch the fireworks. And I'm pretty sure those are at 9 o'clock as well. So in Sumner County, that's pretty much all that's going to happen. I know that there are some private, like at Tennessee Grasslands, there's probably going to be private things around the county. But as far as open to the public, it's at Drakes Creek. You've got to have a ticket, and Triple Creek. Now, there are a couple of smaller events up near Portland. There's one in Mitchellville on July 11th, and I forget where the other one is. There's a small event on July 3rd. But the two big ones are Gallatin and Hendersonville, and the show is going to go on. So just wanted to update y'all on that. And if you need a ticket, call Andy Gilly. No, he's a great guy, and we get along so good with Hendersonville Parks, and we've got a lot of softball and baseball tournaments coming here in the coming weeks. I know we've got a big Game 7 World Series baseball tournament. We've got the USSSA tournament that's coming. There's 3 S's in there. I always mess that up. We've got this PGF tournament coming where we've got over 100 girls softball teams coming. And we've got the SPA tournament. And you may have heard of the SPA tournament, Softball Players Association. It's the senior women's tournament. We have ladies ages 35 to 80 playing softball. So we've got a lot of events coming up in the next few weeks, and we're hoping that's really going to help tourism and help hotels and restaurants. And, you know, I always have to tell this story everywhere I go. When I first started this job, I thought, you know, can I really make a difference here in Sumner County? Can I really boost tourism? Well, we had one of our first tour groups to come in, and I was on the bus. Of course, I had the microphone, and I'm telling everybody about Sumner County, and we pulled up to the Holiday Inn Express. It's like 9 o'clock at night, and this is a senior tour, senior citizens. And I said, okay, we had a good day today. Y'all have a good rest tonight, and I'll see you in the morning at 8 o'clock. We'll pick you back up here. I said, does anybody have any questions? And about 4 ladies raised their hands. I said, yes. And they said, can we do a Walmart run? I said, what? They said, we want to go to Walmart and do some shopping. Well, the bus driver had already driven his hours. You know, in today's world, a bus driver can only drive so many hours, and then they have to stop, and they have to rest. So what do? I take my Honda CR-V, and I take these 4 ladies to Walmart at 9 o'clock at night, and I'm standing there watching them ringing up sales, and I'm thinking, you know what? We can make a difference. I'm seeing it right here with my own eyes. They're spending money. So, do I still have time? I just wanted to open up. Are there any questions out there? Yes, sir.
One of the things at the city that we look at is the impact of tourism. And Andy Gilly puts out every year a financial impact to the city, and it's, as Carl Sagan used to say, millions and millions of dollars that tourism brings into the city. And of course, that helps our businesses. So Barry, I would like to personally thank, on behalf of the city, all that your agency does. I know you work for all of the cities in Sumner County, but it sure seems like Hendersonville gets its fair share of work and attention from your department, and I'd like to say thank you very much.
Well, thank you for those kind words. I will tell you, it's a partnership. It's a partnership between the cities and the chambers and our office. You know, we can't do this alone. We have to have what we call tourism assets. Of course, we have the lake, we have our parks, we have our golf courses, we have our farms, we have our restaurants, our hotels, historic sites. So we have to have something to sell. So we are fortunate, and I wanted to tell you, you give me the high sign when it's time. I don't want people leaving while I'm talking about it. That'll hurt my feelings. But anyway, I was going to tell you, we are well positioned, and why is that? Because we have a lot of outdoor activities. And actually, weekend before last, we went around with a videographer, and we've been shooting a lot of video footage of fishing and boating and golf and tennis and picnicking and hiking. And we're going to be showing all those videos on social media because we've been told that the first folks that are coming back to visit are probably from a few hours away. They're going to drive in a car or they're going to be in an RV, believe it or not. We've got lots of campgrounds. And those are the first travelers that are coming back. And like I said, we're getting ready to get into ball season, so we're going to have all these sports teams. And I don't mind telling you, our bread and butter now is these sports tournaments because not only do the players come, the teenagers, but then they bring mom and dad, and grandma and grandpa and sister and brother with them. So we fill up those hotels pretty fast with these sports tournaments. Yes, sir. Mr. Nelson.
Sort of a two-pronged question. Since your agency is in the Comer House, explain the relationship with that, but tell us about the Comer Barn if you haven't had any inside information about what the future of the Comer Barn might be.
Okay, good questions. Okay, so most of you probably know the Rogers Group owns the quarry over there off Big Station Camp. They also own the barn. Well, they don't own the barn anymore. They gave it to the county. But they used to own the barn. They own the Comer House. And I think our agency moved in the Comer House in 2010, 1 year before I came. I believe that's correct. And basically, here's the deal. That house is so close to that rock quarry, when they blast, and of course you folks that live around there already know, it shakes the house a little bit. Well, it shakes the Comer House a lot. So the Rogers Group doesn't want anybody living there. But they want the house to be kept up. So it's a perfect marriage for us because they allow us to have our office there. And you know how much rent we pay? We pay $100 a year. Now that's the good news. We're a nonprofit. That's the good news. Bad news is we have to keep the house up. For example, I just paid $1,000 to fix one of the columns on the front porch because it had rotted at the bottom. So we have to pay to get the grass cut. We have to pay to keep the house up. If the plumbing fails, we have to pay to fix it. We have to pay the light bill. We pay all those things. But our rent is only $100 a year. And it's a great show place to have a tourism office. So coming from me, the tourism director, it's a great marriage to have the office there because we have events out there on the grounds, and when we have a tour group in, we'll feed them dinner inside the house. We'll have somebody come play the guitar and sing, and we have a big time. We'll use a local caterer to do the food so that they make money as well. As far as the barn goes, of course, in my position, I have to be very guarded on what I say. But I will tell you, just in a nutshell, we've been trying to get the barn renovated ever since I've been here because we thought it would be a great showplace and a great place to have festivals and events, and that barn could be the anchor. Of course, look, I used to work at the Parthenon, okay? Y'all know the Parthenon is one of the iconic buildings of Nashville, Tennessee, the Athens of the South. And that building has been there ever since, well, it was supposed to be 1896, but it wasn't finished until 1897. But it's an iconic building of Nashville, right?
Yes.
Well, the way I view the barn, that's our iconic building. And it's situated right between Hendersonville and Gallatin. You may or may not know this. Technically, it's in Gallatin, but in the backyard of the barn is Hendersonville, and on the front yard of the barn is Gallatin. So, I mean, it's right there on the border, right off of exit 9 of 386 there. So the location is great. It's easy to get to. So that's what we've been working on. Now, unfortunately, there are those in the county who are against it, and they have every right to be against it. So every time we've tried to move it forward, there's been opposition. And I'm not going to get into why there's opposition, but if anybody wants to ask me afterwards, feel free to. But so here's where we are. One of the stumbling blocks was that the Rogers Group owned the building. And everybody was saying, well, the county shouldn't spend money on a building that they don't own. Well, I know better than that, and y'all do too. I used to be over the welcome centers for the state of Tennessee. And in Memphis, Tennessee, in downtown Memphis, there's a big welcome center. And guess whose property it's on? It's not on state property. The state built that building on City of Memphis property, and they lease it from the City of Memphis for 99 years. So there's no rule that says you have to own the land that a government building is on. And I know Congresswoman Black is here, and she could tell me different, but there are ways around that. But there was opposition to that. So the Rogers Group said, okay, county, if you want to fix the building up, we're going to give you the building. Here's the deed. So now the county owns the building and about 5 feet around the building. They don't own that whole property. And the Rogers Group, if you coming from them, they don't want to sell that property. They've got a rock quarry right there. But they love for the buildings to be used. And people have also said, well, why would you want to fix that barn up if they're blasting right next door? Well, the barn has been there since 1938. And it's still there. Now, the roof is about to fall in because it has not been taken care of or used in many, many years. But the stone structure itself has not really been damaged by the blasting. So there are obstacles, Mr. Nelson. I hope I've answered your question. But where we are now is it's kind of in a holding pattern. The county still has it on their agenda, and it's just been kind of sitting there. I don't know if or when it will ever be brought back up again. But it's from a tourism standpoint, and if you were in my job, I think you would agree, what a great place to have a big festival of some kind and have that barn as the anchor building of that property. And we've been told the Rogers Group would be very amicable to give us more land behind the barn for parking and that kind of thing. Yes, Brenda?
Could you talk a little bit about the farm to table event and if that's going to happen again in September this year?
Another good question. And I know I've only got about a minute left, so I'm going to try to hurry. When I came here, I had come from the state of Tennessee, and I know one of the big things in 2011 were these farm-to-table dinners. And you have local people, but you do have visitors that come as well to taste the local cuisine of the area from the local farmers. So I met a lady named Regina Gammon, who owns Hendersonville Produce. We had a meeting, and she wanted to do a farm-to-table dinner, and so did I. So it was a perfect marriage again. And so in 2012, we had our first farm-to-table dinner. We had it 7 years in a row. I'm sure many of you probably have attended that event. Unfortunately, Liberty Party was one of our big sponsors. And y'all may not know that Julie Hurst, y'all probably know Julie, Bruce and Julie that owned Liberty Party. I knew Julie 25 years ago when I worked at the Parthenon. She worked for Destination Nashville at the time for a lady named Carol Norfleet. And we used to do parties at the Parthenon all the time. So I've known them. I know Carol passed away a year or so ago. I was really sorry to hear that. But I've known Julie for a long time. And so Liberty, I don't mind telling you, donated a lot of stuff for the farm-to-table dinner. But when they sold it, they sold Liberty Party, we didn't get the same deal. We were getting charged a lot more money, and we just couldn't afford to do it. Now, speaking of the barn, what I'd love to do is have the farm-to-table dinner in the barn. If we can get the barn fixed up. So we didn't have the farm-to-table dinner last year, and of course now our budget's down. We don't have the money to do it. It's a great event, but we hope to bring it back. Now, I will tell you that Portland has started having a farm-to-table dinner in downtown Portland. It's in August, and they have those lights that are strung across the street. It's a beautiful scene. So there is going to be one in Portland this year, and we hope to bring ours back sometime in the future. I think my time is up, so thank you so much for having me. Everybody have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Don't run away. Don't run away. We do give these books to Gene Brown Elementary, and we ask our guest speakers to please sign the books for us. So if you would, please. Whatever you'd like. So we have our thought for the day today, Oliver Berry.
Yes, I love you too. In college football, there's a lot of different types of fans, and realists, optimists, negative people, and there's a certain special type called a Pollyanna fan, and I'm a Pollyanna Gator fan, which means that at the beginning of every season, I am certain the Gators are going to win a national championship. We may have a little struggle with the SEC championship game, but I'm sure we're going to win it. And then at the end of the season, I'm stunned that we didn't. So I want to say that after 18 years of being in Rotary, I think it's 19 years, I've become a Pollyanna Rotary fan. And I think that Rotary is a great thing. It's a concept. You know, we don't have a building, we don't have a place, we don't have a person. We have a concept, and it's to do good and to help people and to make a difference in the community, and that's what we do. I certainly appreciate, having had a loss recently, the membership of Rotary and what y'all have done and said and offered to help us with and our family, and I certainly appreciate that. But keep that concept of Rotary in mind, and if we could all be Pollyanna Rotarians, that would be a good thing.